And welcome everybody to the 2025 edition of State of Data. It's great to see so many people here. A lot of familiar faces, some new faces. So for those of you who've never seen me, I'm Chris. I'm the CEO of Dataminded. And today we have two full days, actually, full evenings of State of Data. Today is a bit more the leadership track where we don't dive into the technical details just yet. We talk a bit more about strategy and organization. And tomorrow we will focus on the technical track with a lot of topics around platforms and technologies. But so before we dive in, I wanted to tell a bit of a personal story, and that's basically what we hear these days is that the world is changing. I don't have to tell you that because we just heard Trump yesterday do some crazy stuff again. So it's a bit of a very dynamic world that we live in, but it's not just American politics that affects us, it's also the changes in Gen AI and LLMs. And on the one hand, that's very exciting for us because it opens up a lot of new use cases and a lot of opportunities. But at the same time, there's also a bit of fear and doubt that is being spread because of LLMs. And I hear these rumors of soon we don't need data teams anymore, LLMs will take our jobs, right? You don't need an engineer anymore, you vibe code your solution, right? That's you just talk to an LLM and it builds your solution. You don't need an analyst anymore because you just ask questions to your data, it will give you the answers. You don't need managers anymore because LLMs can make the slides for you. Come on in, welcome. we can all be replaced by LLMs. And I am by now a bit older than average, I don't know, but I'm not the youngest chicken in Dataminded anymore. So I think we're going to be all right, because if you think about Dataminded, we've been around now for 11 years. And if you think about everything that has changed in those 11 years, technology has definitely improved, right? So when we started, there was a lot of on-prem data warehouses. Then the first things we did was move all of that to Hadoop systems. Yeah, we did that. And then once those Hadoop systems became deprecated, we moved everybody to the cloud. And then the cloud modern data stack is more powerful than ever, right? So in terms of technology, a lot has changed in the last 10 years. Also in terms of algorithms, where we used to be happy if we can do some simple aggregation or some what we now call traditional machine learning, a lot more is possible, right? I already talked about LLMs, things that took us months to personally hand code. Now you can just take off the shelf from an algorithm, from an LLM. So in terms of technology and algorithms, it's really a lot of things have improved exponentially, right? It's a completely different world versus 10 years ago. So in a way, you would think we made it as an industry. We are a lot more mature in data teams all over in every organization, have a lot more impact. But then if you're really honest with each other, if you think about sustainable solutions, I think not much has changed versus 10 years ago. We still struggle to build solutions that can stand the test of time, that can run without being babysitted all the time, that can actually have value at a large scale. Nothing has changed versus 10 years ago. And the same with value to end users, right? It is still super hard to actually deliver value to somebody that's using data in day-to-day life. There are still today so many platforms built that are completely decoupled from what the actual user needs. There's still every day I have conversations with clients that are very frustrated, like the data team builds one thing and the user wants another thing. Right, so despite of all the technology advances and despite of all the more algorithmic possibilities we have, I think if we're honest, as an industry, there is still a lot of work. But that is also, again, the opportunity, because we figured out by now that you need more than just technology to make a data program successful, right? You need many different pieces, and you need many different people with different roles in organizations to make that work together. You need an engineer, you need a scientist, you need an analyst, you need a business expert, you need managers, you need leaders, you need visionaries, you need doers, you need DevOps people. You need to combine a lot of different skills to make something work end to end, right? And that's also the purpose of why we're here today. We want to share with all of you, and I'm looking forward to a lot of interactions of what we've seen that works, like the puzzle pieces that you need and how you fit them together, and what we've seen work in the past, but also what we've seen fail in the past, right? And that's also the purpose of Dataminded. Like, why are we here? What do we really like doing? It's not just about the technology or the algorithms, but we want to build data-centric organizations. And what do we mean by data-centric organizations? Johnny, I'm not going to spoil your whole talk because you're going to talk a lot about that. But in essence, we want to do three things. We like to help our clients build and modernize their platforms. We want to industrialize their data products, so to make them more sustainable. And we want to also improve the operating model and the skills in the team to be successful long term, right? So this is what we want to do as Dataminded, and I think this is also, if you work in data teams in large organizations, these are also the topics that are probably close to your heart as well. To make that concrete, what do we bring for you today? The agenda is, well, Johnny's going to dive way more into that one slide that I just showed, and he's going to explain how we like to build modern data-centric organizations. Next, Miruna is going to share the state of enterprise data 2025, where, I don't know if you all know, but in the last year, we contacted a lot of you to do a survey, an interview about how you as data leaders or data practitioners look at the state of data. We did a qualitative survey and also a quantitative survey, and we got some conclusions out of that. So we want to share with you how, not what we think, but how you feel the state of data is like. Then there will be a break, and after the break, we have a panel discussion with Joris, Muriel, and Tine. So these are people from different industries, and we're going to talk about data strategy. I prepared some very hard questions for them, so I'm curious how they will look at data. And last but not least, we also have a guest speaker from Dell Technology, where he brings a case how your data helps you cross the finish line. It's a reference case from what they built at McLaren. So I hope in between those talks, there's a lot of networking. I hope you take the opportunity to share knowledge with each other, share learnings, and hopefully then we make the state of data a little bit better in Belgium. That being said, I'm going to give the floor to the first speaker, which is Johnny, and he's going to talk about building data-centric organizations with platforms.